Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 video where today I'm going to be sharing with you my super attacking 3-4-1-2 formation. Now this formation, I specifically will only use this formation if I'm playing against someone who is either being really sort of passive and they're kind of like passing it around the back and just kind of being that type of guy. Or this is a formation where I will use in a scenario where maybe I'm 2 goals down or 1 goal down late in a game and I really need a goal. And either I'm going to get that goal and get back into the game and then switch into my normal formation, or I'm going to concede that third goal and it's going to kill the game off. So this is really one of those formations for certain scenarios. This is not a formation that I would recommend playing with from minute 1, only for scenarios when you're necessarily chasing game. Now, with that being said, why did I choose the 3-4-1-2? What I like about this formation is I like the fact that there is a cam to link up the play. And I think cams are really important in FIFA. They really help with the way I like to play. I think with other formations, I know a lot of people maybe like the 3-5-2. Mainly that's because people like the DMs. I personally prefer the flat midfield with the 2 centre midfielders. I think that's a little bit better, especially if you're trying to use this formation in an attacking sense. You really want midfielders because it means their position is going to start a little bit better. I like the fact that it's got some width in it. And I just think generally this is a brilliant formation. It's one of the best formations for this type of play. Now, with that being said, these are the tactics that I decided to settle on. Now, some people may suggest going with constant pressure. I don't personally think constant pressure is that great. Whenever I play against constant pressure, I find it's more easy to play against than it actually kind of like helps. I don't know why that is. It just seems like your players kind of press really randomly. And they don't sort of press the player individually. They seem to kind of just press random space. And I just find that whenever people constant pressure me, I find that all you have to do is just hit one ball over the top and you've beaten the press. So it's very, very easy. So I prefer the press on possession loss. So I'm still using this formation, obviously, from sort of minute 60, 65. So I still need to have some shape to my team. I don't want to be like super aggressive on a constant pressure. I don't want to give up that sort of potential 3rd or 4th goal that might kill off the game too easily. So I'm going to play press on possession loss. So it's still going to give me the element of a press, but it's still going to give me good formation and good structure to my team. In terms of the depth, I'm going to be playing on around about 70. Obviously, when you're playing on a press, you do need to have a higher depth. There's no good playing a press with sort of like 50 depth because your players are going to be pressing from too deep a position. So obviously the higher up, the more effective the press will be, but the more difficult it's going to be to obviously defend. You go to 71, you can see how it changes the way it plays. So 70 is kind of as high as I dare go. I think you go any higher than that, and I just think it becomes too easy for your opponents to be able to counter you. So I think 70 is a good number. In terms of build-up play, I went for fast build-up. I think, again, this is why I chose the 3-4-1-2 mainly as this formation, because the cam is so important for linking up the play. If you have a flat midfield, it just doesn't quite work. You're always having to play like really long passes into your strikers, long through balls in behind. Whereas when you're playing fast build-up, you really need a cam to be able to link up between your centre midfielders and your strikers. If you don't have that link between them, you're just going to be playing kind of long, hopeful, drilled passes into them and hope that it sticks. So the fast build-up works exceptionally well with a cam. So that's the why I decided to go with that. In terms of chance creation, I decided to leave it on balance. Now, I've really gone off using direct passing recently. The problem I have with direct passing is, yes, your players make the runs in behind, but they then never get back onside. So if you don't pass the ball once they've made the run, they just kind of stay offside all the time and they never get back onside. And then you end up having to pass the ball all the way back to your centre backs just so they get back, onside again. So one of the problems with direct passing is that they just stay offside too much. They don't get back, and then it can often cause you to lose possession because now your strikers are behind the defenders, so now your opponent can really press you hard and you've got no one to pass the ball to. And I find that I'm starting to get a lot of countered a lot, and especially with the quality of player that people have nowadays, it can be very, very easy. And then even more on top of that, in this formation, with it being obviously really easy for people to potentially get through you because it's obviously quite aggressive, I just think that's going to make it way too easy. So I decided to stay on balance so your players will still make runs. Mainly I decided to stay on balance so my instructions can really take the lead on this formation, which is really important. Offensive width, I went for 80. I want the wide guys to stay wide, especially if we're going to be pressing. And one of the problems when people play against the press is they can just chip it out to a fullback or someone like that. So that's not going to be possible if we've got 80 width. You know, we're going to be covering the fullbacks at all times. My left and right midfielders are going to be pressing onto people's fullbacks, so it's going to make it really hard for them to play that way. And then we're going for 7 players in the box on you know, just 7 players getting in the box, so we've got more bodies in the box. So when we're crossing it with those left and right midfielders looking for cutbacks, whatever it may be, we're obviously going to have more players getting in the box and potentially scoring us more goals. Now, in terms of the instructions, this is why I wanted to play unbalanced. I wanted the instructions really to lead, because the instructions are really important. They're quite specific. So I've got the 2 strikers, both on stay central, getting behind, and both of them on stay forward. Having your 2 strikers on stay forward is really, really important if you want to press in FIFA. If you want to play on constant pressure, on press on possession loss, whatever it may be, team press, when you have your strikers on stay forward, it means that your strikers will constantly be pressing the centre backs. They won't like drop off and give them 10-15 yards of space. It means that they're constantly going to be on top of them, so they're going to be able to press way more effectively. That's why people that play with their strikers on stay forward often play on a press, because it means that the press is more effective. If you don't have them on stay forward, what happens is they then drop back into that sort of neutral shape, 10 yards off the centre backs, and then they have to go and press again. When they're on stay forward, they tend to obviously stay on top of the centre back, so it's really important that you can do that. In terms of the Cam, he kind of is doing the same. I want him to be on stay forward as well. Like I said, we're trying to press, we're trying to win that ball back as high as possible, so we really want as many players as we can without going too crazy the other way. Having as many players as we can staying forward, it's going to mean that our attacks are going to be a lot quicker, a lot faster, and we're going to be able to get a lot more of them, but also the press is going to be a lot more effective. Of course, they want to be on getting to the box and free roam as well for the central Cam. In terms of the 2 midfielders, Bellingham and Vieira, ideally, if you're playing obviously really, really attacking at this point, you want 2 kind of like aggressive midfielders. You don't want defensive midfielders at this point, but you do want players like Bellingham, you know, proper box-to-box midfielders, because they are going to have to be able to sort of like have decent pace and be able to defend a little bit, because they're going to have to obviously be able to have the pace to defend counterattacks. But you don't want to really change these guys too much. You want them to just play as box-to-box mids. I do have them on stay on edge of the box. I don't want them getting in, because if that front sits with that sort of front 7 is all doing the attacking, you are going to have literally no one back to defend. So I just want them on stay on edge. Just let that front 5 get into the box, and these guys can kind of sweep up and make sure we can maintain those counterattacks. In terms of the left mids and right mids, I've got these guys on stay wide, getting behind and getting into the box. Now, I want them to get into the box. That is mainly for when we start crossing the ball. I want those guys to be getting in and potentially picking up any scraps. I want them on stay wide, mainly because, like I said, when we're pressing, I want these guys to obviously utilize that 80 width that we've got, and pairing them with this stay wide, it's going to mean that they really are going to stay wide. They're going to listen to the instructions, and that means that when the press is active, these guys are going to press right up close on top of the fullbacks. And as we said before, the 2 strikers are on stay forward. They're going to press right on top of the centre backs. So my opponent then won't have anywhere to go. And the chances are either he's going to get through the press, in which case, you know, well done to him, or we're going to press him, we're going to win that ball back and get more chances. And like I said before, this formation is mainly just to get us back into the game. And obviously the centre backs are all going to be on stay back while attacking, and then the goalkeeper comes to crosses and sweeper keeper. So as I just alluded to there, this formation is for 70 minutes, 75 minutes, 2-1 down, need a goal, get that goal 80 minutes, 82 minutes, 85 minutes, whatever it may be, then switch back into your normal formation, whatever it may be. For me, it's the 5-2-1-2 or the 4-2-2-2, 4-2-3-1. Whatever your normal formation is, you then switch back into that once you've obviously got the goal back. Obviously, your stamina is going to take a hit, so you need to make sure you've got players that have got good stamina, because your stamina is going to take a hit when you're on this sort of aggressive style of play. But it's all to get back into the game and try and save the results. So if you do want to try this formation out, let me know how it goes for you. It's really, really effective for me. It has done a brilliant job at getting me probably, I would say, 8 out of 10 games I will get back in, and probably 2 of the games I will concede a goal and the game will be over. And that's what you have to expect with formations like this. It's not going to work 100% of the time. It's just going to, you know, do the best it can do to get you back in as many games as you can. So if you want to try this out, let me know down in the comment section how it goes to you. Do drop a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day.